Hello and welcome to the Niall 9 podcast. It is a best of the month episode, and on episode 320, I'm joined by Mags Tolly Fogarette. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to get you on. I want to hear what your music choices are, what you've been listening to over how's your summer been? You've obviously last weekend you were at All Together Now. Flat out with the content, but also having fun with it, I think, as well, right?
Even before in July, I went to go see My Chemical Romance in Wembley. I got a ticket the day before, so I was sick. I got to go see Fatboy Slim as well 2 weeks later in Brighton, and then I was at All Together Now. So it's been like super.
So you're having a good summer.
I know, I can't complain. And I was at Primavera Sound.
Oh, look, listen. Yeah. I mean, that's a proper music festival summer. Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're London based?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Kildare. I'm from Naas.
Are you? Are you from Naas? No way. I'm from Newbridge.
Are you actually?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You're the same as Kildare Joe.
Yeah, I know. Sure. Joe's brother, Mike, is one of my best friends.
Oh, small world.
Yeah.
That's why all the music.
My parents live in Naas as well. So there you go. Oh. So I actually spend so much time down there. So yeah, there you go. Up Kildare. Right, great. Good start. But yeah, so okay, well let me talk to you about All Together Now, because you were doing loads of previous stuff around that.
Yeah.
What are your takeaways now? The dust has settled. Literally the dust has settled because there was loads of dust down there because the weather was so nice.
Yeah. Firstly, weather was amazing. That just like made the whole weekend. It makes it so much easier. I know it's dusty.
It does make a difference, yeah.
Yeah, like no rain, can't really complain. There's a few changes to the festival, and I thought they did them pretty well. Like terms of stages, the bandstand, they really upgraded that. They really like Ringo started out with the Peace and Love, but I thought the sound system was really good.
Yeah.
Just the way they kind of did it up to make it look a bit better. Thought that was really nice.
I think they did the bandstand thing. It was great when it was there the first year, and they had it on the lawn outside Cormore House, and then they moved it, and over the years it obviously it got like it was rained on, and I don't know what it was covered or what, but there was always issues there with it might rain, we might have to stop this stage for a bit, so you can't really run things like that. But they have beefed it up in the last few years significantly. I was only there for a number of hours. I was playing on the Saturday night, and then I saw a bit of For Those I Love, the After Dark set, which I really enjoyed, and then I kind of just bopped around a bit, and then I had to drive home that night. So I got the lay of the land. I got to see what was different. I didn't get to do everything. I didn't get to go to the last city or any of that kind of stuff. I had a look at the new areas, like the Big Romance area was really nice. You have to commit to that though. It was a shoes off policy, I believe. I don't know if that was kept until the evening.
That was going to be my next one. I was going to say I loved the addition of the Big Romance. I think that is one of the best things that they've done. I heard about the shoes off policy when people were doing yoga and stuff. By the time I was going in to go see New Jackson, that wasn't in place. But it's really nice. It's really nice on your festival feet, not being on grass. When you go in, there's just like a bit of carpet. It's just so lovely.
Yeah, it was a lovely spot, a really nice. The Rise Up sound system, Cork was in there. And then what else did we see? I mean, a lot of the things that were part of. Did you go to the main stage at all? Did you see any of the main stage?
Yeah, I was main stage for, I think it was only 3 times. It was Gurrier's, Pulp, and Underworld.
How was the sound this year? I heard mixed things about the sound.
I think I was in.
They're always.
You could definitely feel it when you were walking around, like notably where the sound was better. To be fair, for Pulp, I think for all 3, I was pretty near the front. Like Underworld, I was like, I need to be like 3 rows in front of this man.
So what were your highlights after going and thinking back on it? What were the things that you surprised by?
Yeah, so I think in terms of Irish artists, like if we're going to do Irish rock bands, let's say, Baby Rat, saw them on the first day, thought they were just so good. They really packed it out. I was going to go see the Ran, but the stage was too busy, so I was like, right.
Yeah. Heard that.
They were sick. Sprints as well. I've been waiting to see Sprints for so long, and finally I got to see them. I was like, okay, this is so good. She's such a rock star.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then Gilliband as well. Once again, been waiting so long to see Gilliband.
Is that your first time seeing Gilliband?
Yeah, I know. That's what everyone says. So I have tickets to go see them in in February, but I was just standing there just like, "This is exactly what I wanted."
Very good.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since an album, and I was just like, "This is"
Yeah,
oh,
I guess it has been a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and just the way to have just the silhouettes on the screens, and again, sorry, they also upgraded the Road to Nowhere, they actually had screens,
Yeah,
so
they're
it
really nice.
yeah, really
They
well
had
done.
the Art of Asbestos flags around it, and then kind of the curved visual screens as
Yeah,
well, which was really nice. I actually did catch the first 2 songs, I think, from Gilliband. Yeah, so because I was rushing over to see For Those I Love, but it was nice to see Gilliband again. It's been a while for me, but yeah. I mean, look, they're a great Irish band. Absolutely brilliant. What else did you see? Any new discoveries down there for you?
just before that, actually, I was running over from Pháidín, thought they were really, really good, really interesting, new kind of folk trad.
Yeah.
Heard good things, and they were there, I suppose, like, they delivered it. In terms of bands, in terms of other Irish acts, I thought David Kitt, I seen him live playing Big Romance. Not playing
He
that, playing his album, The Big Romance, was so good.
Yes. Did he do the full band this time again?
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was the show at the National Concert Hall, where he did the full band was great. It was one of the best things I've seen in a long time, and especially because I've seen Kisser so many times, and it's usually him on a guitar or him and 2 other people maybe. So it was really nice to see that album fully fleshed out. In a way, like, that album has been one of my albums of the year this year because it's been like, it is a
Yeah,
new album, but it's an old album, but, it's kinda been one of those interesting. I've been really revisiting it, a
so
lot.
good.
So, yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, one of my friends is a big fan of it, so I'm just constantly going back, and it was just the perfect, like, 2 o'clock sunny, like, Saturday, everyone was kinda sitting down just having a great time, it was just the perfect setting.
Lovely. Anything else you saw then
Yeah, loved
internationally?
yeah, loved David Keenan, thought his voice was unbelievable live, like, when you're hearing him and just the way he presents himself on stage and the way you can tell he just loves performing and he's just meant to do it. And just
Yeah,
seeing someone on stage do that is like, I was kind of awestruck about how much he was loving it and just so comfortable up there. I was like, wow, it's so amazing to see someone do something they really,
yeah.
really love. I was, and he had the Irish dancers. I was just like, wow,
Great.
such a talent. I thought
Nice.
Roche was really good as well. She's always fantastic. Another great artist, always bit demonic, but earthy and crazy, but it's just what you want.
Yeah, she's brilliant, and I remember seeing her last year and really, really exciting stuff, like, obviously, and just so prolific in terms of the kind of music that she's making. She's making so many different kinds of projects. It was reminding me when that Phoebe Bridgers thing was announced about the planetariums last week, that
Yeah.
she did some soundtrack for some films that were in the planetarium in Armagh last year. She had an album that she wrote for the some National Concert Hall show. She has like 3 or 4 different albums. When I went to see her originally back in Halloween, like 2 years ago, she had like 2 different types of sets. She had the folky trad, the grief set based off the EP, and then this like upbeat, dancey one as well. So yeah, pretty amazing. She's great.
Blends the 2 so well together, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know how her brain works, it's unbelievable.
Would you say Altogether Now is your favorite Irish festival?
Yeah, I think there's just from so many standpoints, I think given it's slightly older, I think the vibe is better than, let's say, like, Electric Picnic.
Yeah,
It's smaller, easier to get to the stages. They kinda focus on, like, smaller acts and kind of B tier acts. Like, I don't mean that in a mean way, but, like, they pack those sections out so much that there's always someone you wanna go see at any given stage.
yeah,
I think that just lends itself to people really going, "'Kay, oh, I really like this band, do you wanna come with me?" You know, and people are so relaxed because you can bring your drinks in, so people aren't really that fussed about staying at the campsite all the time. I think at this age loads of people like, it would be a time that I would meet a lot of my friends, like, as a reunion back there. A lot of people are in different spots. I
yeah,
myself am in London. I'll go back for All Together now. It's such a I think just at this age, it's such a great excuse for, like, a gathering of all your mates together, and then given just how small and close it is, it's so easy to hang out with them all day because there's so
yeah.
many.
And you're right. I think like most, I don't know where all of the festivals are with the kind of letting drinks in. It does make a huge difference though. Like it really does. Because I mean, there were so many years where we didn't have that.
Yeah.
We didn't get those opportunities, like to just be treated as adults. And I think that's what I always really liked about All Together Now. You're treated like an adult.
You are.
It's a very adult festival. I mean, but it's also family friendly as well. It's
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna meet Sounders there for sure.
exactly. The only problem is just the price of food is just so bad. You're treated like an adult in that sense. It's
It
just kind
was
of
expensive this year, yeah.
yeah,
14
yeah,
quid for a burger I paid and was like,
yeah.
"Ah, okay, well, this is all I'm eating today, I guess. That's fine."
Think, yeah, everyone had the one meal kind of
Yeah. Are
schedule
you
on.
are you done for festivals now for the summer?
No, I last year I never went to Electric Picnic, and I spent the entire weekend going, "No, why am I not Electric Picnic?" So I am going back for Electric Picnic.
Yeah, okay, wow,
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
I dunno, I think at any stage, if I could be somewhere or at an Irish festival, I'd be like, "Oh, I kind of do wanna be at the Irish festival."
Yeah, I
And
mean, in
given the
fairness, there's
lineup
some good
coming out,
stuff there this year.
yeah, I saw the line for is it Cree this year? They just announced
Yeah,
it, like John Francis Flynn, we've Roy Sweeney, we've Champagne, a few others, Haratan in there. So
yeah.
they're doing it well.
There's loads. There's just so many things happen at the picnic. I haven't been now for a few years because I think I've done my time there. I just
Yeah.
unless I'm booked to DJ, I probably won't be going. But yeah, I'd be tempted to go see OK Lou and Geese
Mm,
and a number of acts on that list I haven't seen for a while. So look,
yeah,
you never know. You never know. You
yeah.
never know.
And then that'll be my probably 3rd or 4th time seeing Geese this year, so
Yeah, sure.
really?
Well, I mean, it's been a busy summer. It's been a nice summer. There's no really easy way to have a segue about this, but obviously, there's been a lot happening. Kat Dowling passed away over the weekend. Very sad to see that. She was an artist I wrote about over the years. Met her a couple of times. Those kind of things are just very upsetting. It keeps happening to a lot of Irish musicians. Obviously, the other big story that is hard to ignore is Glen Hansard and his tragic passing. He leaves a young family at home. I guess didn't want to not talk about this because from my perspective, Glen Hansard is someone he's a giant in Irish music and has been for so many years, and it's been on my mind constantly in every conversation since he passed. And look, full disclosure, there's a reason I never wrote about him directly in all the years on the site, because you go back and have a look, you'll see I didn't write about him directly about his music because I'd heard a lot of stories about him. I'd heard problematic things about the man. It was well known in music circles. There was talk about his behavior with underage girls. This was something that people knew, and it's easy to see why the stuff about him wasn't coming out, given the age and circumstance of the people involved in those experiences in their formative years of being an adult and the influence that Hansard wielded in the singer-songwriter scene. The Marketa Iglova timeline stuff, which is obviously becoming a point of argument in the discourse around this. People are saying, well, she was fine with it. But, I mean, you may not be. I am the same. I don't feel good about that. He had met her when he was 12. That is a fact. His quote to Entertainment Weekly in 2007 says, I had been falling in love with her for a long time, but I kept telling myself she was just a kid. That's a quote that he made to a newspaper in 2007. That is a fact. There's a lot of people who feel that they're being almost gaslit in a way because of the outpouring of unconditional grief and unconditional love for Glen Hansard. That's the thing we have to kind of keep in our minds about this stuff, because nothing is binary. Nothing is good or bad. It can be true that Glen Hansard was an amazing songwriter. People loved him, a bard of Ireland, if you want to, because that's kind of how he's been treated. But he's also, you know, seen, and certainly by people like myself and others, a problematic. And I think what's happened here is that the reckoning, you're hearing a lot of things come out on Instagram and on Substack. Louise McCharry mentioned it last week. Saw Rosemary Cave mention it. The singer Jess Cav wrote something on Substack about Glen Hansard. These are stories that we'd heard for years. It's kind of whispers. You hear about these things that happen with Glen. These are the stories you were told, and you make a decision to be like, okay, I'm not really comfortable with that. I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I used to love the Frames. Stop listening. Stop paying attention. Didn't write about him. And I think it's just, I think it's worth acknowledging that. And it's so difficult because the outpouring of grief was so great in the last week. But this is the problem with this kind of discourse. I think for me, it's been very galling to read some of the big newspaper names write such glowing tributes about him. when they must know or must have heard what myself and many others have heard over the years. And I think ignoring what you've heard about him is a decision and a certain choice. When I've talked to people about this lately, a good number of people felt like they were going crazy in the face of this unconditional grief, and that's the unconditional outpouring of love for him. And that's the thing, everything is conditional. I'm a Libra. I think about balance, and it's part of who I am. So I can't just ignore those things. And I made the decision years ago to be like, okay, I don't want anything to do with him. And I think the thing about that is because he died so suddenly, reckoning was sudden. And I think you have to think about what a person is and how they've moved through the world. And, I don't think you can ignore this part of him. I think what a lot of people I've learned over the years is that people shut down when they hear something they don't like or they don't want to know because it changes their opinion about somebody. Denial and anger and dismissal are the first stages of acceptance. I talk a lot about critical thinking, and more than ever in life, we need to have the critical thinking around the things that we love and the things that we revere, and don't expect that everybody is all good or all bad. Well, look, yeah, I just want to acknowledge that, like, because that is the reality of what's been in the background for me a lot in the last week and a half, is like just those conversations. It's an acknowledgement of their feelings and also the fact that it's not a binary situation. It's not a binary thought or how you feel about somebody who died. I think it's right that people are sharing their stories. Those stories are heard. And that's the main thing, I think. So Mags, I'd love to hear from you about. We talked about critics there, so like, what stuff are you liking? What is the music that you love? I'd like to start with your first one of your choices, actually, not in your order. So this is the very unique album, a compilation album of an artist called Nirosta Steel. I saw Zara Hederman actually post this a few weeks ago, and I seen it. It's one of those like the law of trees. I've seen a few people mention it, and then I was like, oh, there it is again. What's this guy? And then you like of Arthur Russell, right? So I had heard Arthur Russell mentioned along with this guy. He played in the band, right? Didn't he play with the band? That was
Yeah.
his whole thing. So tell me what you know about him, and we'll play. We'll because the album, like, explain it. There's so much going on in this thing. It's called My Skyscraper.
Yeah, My Skyscraper by Nirosta Steel. It was funny when you said you're gonna choose the most unique one off this list. I was like, okay, we're going for My Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Trying to explain this album is so difficult because it's so bizarre. So it's basically like 40 years of his work. So this is like his entire life work put into this album. And they made it a double album. So it is clocking in around like an hour and a half. It's pretty long.
Mhm.
And it's just the most chaotic, like Irish pop, jazz, experimental, prog, disco. There's just like no rules to what this man can do. One of the songs, what put me onto this album was one of my friends saying he does one song just entirely in a different register, or he just sings like, and
Yeah,
that's
he
the
has this
entire song.
crazy falsetto.
It's
Like,
out of nowhere. It just kind of slaps you in the face out of nowhere. And then later on in the album, one of the songs is a Mandarin opera. And this man, I think he's Scottish and moved to America or vice versa. And you can just tell, like, some of these songs, like, he just goes into this song and you can tell he goes to a dive bar and he's like, oh, please guys, let me do this song again. And they're like, Stephen, stop. And then he's in the corner singing his song again. And eventually it was put on an album and people loved it
yeah.
because it's just so crazy the whole way through. And there's so many just different genres just bashing against one another to make something that is like an hour and 40 minutes of this man's life. And it is kind of fantastic. You just have to listen the whole way
Yeah,
through.
it's kind of like a retrospective, isn't it? Like, it's like music from his life over the last 40 years. His name is Stephen Hall. He was born in Glasgow in 1957, to the US at 15, settled in New York, got to know Arthur Russell. Obviously, Arthur Russell is an amazing songwriter, also did a lot of disco stuff. He had, and he played the cello, and he did loads of interesting ambient music sometimes, and then like this really like devastating like folk sound as well sometimes. And there's a lot of what goes on with the Arthur Russell sound and the sensibility of Arthur Russell in Nirosta Steel's music. It's warm, it's playful, it's folky, it's pop, it's weird, it's off kilter. It's like, what the hell is going on? This is music from the 80s to 2025, and this guy is very much alive, right? Isn't that like he?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go see him in
Yeah,
November.
he's playing. Yeah, he's playing. He followed me back on Instagram. There, he seems to follow everyone on
Yeah,
Instagram.
actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure he followed you if you have a look. He's following more people than are following him. So he's one of those lads. I was like, wow, who's this fella? He's just like putting up weird loads of pictures of his cat. But yeah, there's talk of him coming to Dublin as well.
Yeah,
But
I've
I mean,
heard.
there's no way to actually just like play a song that represents. So I'm gonna have to play at least two.
That's
So
the
the
beauty.
first one, let's play the one you picked, because this is the one that made me sort of recoil a little bit in the first place. So let's listen to this, because I mean it's not all like this, but this is Yema from the album My Skyscraper from Nirosta Steel. Okay, so this release is it was culled from a collection of long form mixes that they label were sent last year, and this is why it's so disparate, it's so different. So you heard that song, and you're like, yeah, I want to hear this. I want to hear more of this.
No, what I actually did was I heard to listen to the album and then started listening to the album, and then once I kind of forgot it was on, and then you hear that song and you're like, wait, is he doing this the entire time? And you're like, no, he just did it for one song. So I suppose it's an hour and 20, so you kind of put it on and you're doing
Yeah.
other stuff. Things come in and out of what you're kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And I think that's what's so fun about it. It's like this guy just made music for 40 years and then put it out as a double album. And then people are like, wow, this is great. Like you're just kind of doing your own thing, whatever it might be. I think that's a really cool concept that someone can do that kind of later in life and people love it.
Yeah. The one that chimed with me was probably the most digestible one, which is track 2, which is Boss
Yeah.
Trick. So let's have a listen to that.
Don't shake that thing. Do you get here? Please. Do you next to me again? Don't shake that.
So that reminded me of the washed out Neon Indian, all that kind of chill wavy vibe that happened around the 2010s. Very much like a disco-y version of that. Yeah, I don't know. Is there another song we could play that gives you like another vibe of this? What would you pick out of these?
Maybe My Name Is Night. We'll go with that one, I'd say.
When we kiss, the only way to kiss, and when we love it, the only way to love it. My name is Night.
So there's two other things I was thinking of when I was listening to this. Obviously, Arthur Russell is a big influence, and I feel like maybe this is an influence that may roll two ways. We've never really heard. Well, I had never really heard any Arthur Russell collaborators in this way. And he had sang on some of Arthur Russell's disco songs, like "Is It All Over My Face," "Tell You Today." After Russell died, Hall and his friends formed Arthur's Landing, the band, to keep playing his music. So it does have a lot of that influence in it. The other thing I was thinking about, there's a band called Kindness, who don't think he's really sang in a while. Bainbridge, I think his name is. He had an album out in his first album was called World You Need to Change Your Mind 2012. I was all over it at the time. We wrote about it on the website all the time. And that year was my favorite albums of that year. It had that kind of wild feeling to it. There was like an EastEnders cover on it as well. It wasn't. It was a bit smoother than this, but like. And then the other one I was thinking of, which kind of because of the nature of how it's presented, is that it reminds me of is the Cindy Lee album from a couple of years ago as well, the Diamond Jubilee. It is kind of like an album that's really long. That was 2 hours long, something to explore. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have those things. I think that when an album is over an hour and a half or approaching that, you kind of sometimes you can think about these things in a different way. You kind of like, right, it's not like I'm not looking for every song to be an absolute keeper. I just want to be. It's like a mixtape. You want to be taken on an interesting journey, and I think My Skyscraper certainly does that. Do you
Yeah, I
think
think.
you're going to go see him as well?
Oh yeah, no, I have tickets.
When is that on?
I think it's 7th of November in London. I think it's part
Okay,
of
great. Oh, the
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
They loved that album as well, so that's pretty telling.
Yeah. Hey, okay, so that was Nirosta Steel. The album is called My Skyscraper. If I was to pick an album of the month, I imagine I would be picking this one. It is Kelela. Her third album is called New Avatar. A voice that I think if I had top 5 voices in music, Kelela would be up there. Her kind of future R&B has been a constant in my music listening over the last 10, 15 years. And she arrived with Cut For Me mixtape in 2013, and I love that mixtape. She was working a lot of producers at that time that I was really into. Since then, she's only got better. She's expanded her palette. That was kind of like a clubby mixtape with Bok Bok and Jam City and names like Girl Unit and Nguzu working on it. And then she kind of expanded it into a few different, still keeping the kind of future R&B strand. I have to say, before this album came out, I was like, where can Kelela go with her sound? Because she's done it so well. Her last album was 2023. It was Raven. She has established this kind of really interesting thing. I saw her a couple of years ago, a few years around the time of Raven in Dublin in the Academy. She's brilliant, and definitely one of the most singular voices in music and in contemporary R&B. And I love that there's always a club adjacent thing with her. But this new album, New Avatar, has a whole kind of different vibe to it. It still has that R&B thing in it, but it has this kind of almost shoegaze influence. It has a lot of guitars on it, which was, surprising for her, but it's something that works really well. There's kind of this, ice cool synths, and then these kind of grungy guitars come in every now and again. Very surprising. Pink Pantheress features on it, A.K. Paul from the Paul Institute as well. I'm going to play a bit of that song. This song is called Out of Time, one of my favorites from the record. And here it is from Kelela's album.
I'm not alone, but it's cold. Please give me something. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. Running how? Running out of time. Running out of time. Out of time. Out of time.
The guitars are kind of subtle on that one, so I also wanted to play a bit of Idea 1 as well to kind of maybe hear a bit more of the vibe. Let me see if I picked the right song.
Bright illusion, hide the solution deep in the ground. Oh, bury across since you lost. Now I'm jaded. No, it ain't right. Don't you look away. Reason and pause that you make sure to hide it. Are you alive? I don't run away. Leading across.
Yeah, I think it's nice. It adds a different texture to her music, and yeah, I think she's just one of my favorite voices in music, easily. Up there with like Rosalia and Kelela are like two sides of the same coin for me. They're very different in terms of how they sing, but Kelela is playing Haunted Dance Hall Festival in October in
Okay.
National Concert Hall. So that'll be good. And then if you're in Europe, she's playing throughout Europe after that, and London as well, November 4th. So yeah, one of my favorite voices of music. Had you heard this?
Yeah, I was listening to a bit of it before. I heard it, people kind of raving about it a while ago. It's to me, it's so 2000s. Like she has that real Destiny's Child, Kelly Rowland. I suppose that's 90s. The voice, like, it sounds so Destiny's Child, but then the
Yeah.
influences are very like Evanescence-y almost with the guitars and the plucking and just everything together. I think you can tell it's just someone who's really good at putting a song together that you just wouldn't expect in different ways.
Yeah, she's great. I just think she's one of those authors of music who just has her own lane. She's doing her own thing. Even like she had an album of kind of a live acoustic album last year as well, and it was like, whoa, okay. And if you needed a reminder that she was like really amazing at just like simply singing with a piano, she has that as well. So speaking of somebody who's synonymous with their instrument, your next choice is the well-known man Jack White. He had just released an album called Frozen Charlotte. So tell me what's going on with Jack White and this album, and how he's doing when he's not giving out about Trump.
Yeah, his seventh studio album. I'll admit it. Up until about 9 months ago, I didn't realize that Jack White was in the White Stripes. I just thought he
Oh,
was.
Mags, you're so young.
I just like I know I just kind of put them like in two separate entities, but obviously it
Well, it's
made
been
me
a while. It's been a while. When did White Sox break up? I mean, and
early 2000s.
yeah, I mean it was in 2011, 2011.
Yeah,
So long time ago.
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I kind of knew him from kind of, Third Man Records and things like that. But yeah, seven studio album. I would love to say more. Then it's just like a really good, like classic rock album. I just the whole way through, there's no kind of slowing down. There's no acoustic. I love when the whole album's just like high tempo. Right, here's a load of rock and roll, and
Yeah.
my brain is just like this is stellar. It's just such a good album, start to finish. And I think the start of it with God and the Broken Ribs is just such a 70s inspired rock song. You're just like, I want to put on some flares, and thumps at you straight away with that bass line. It's just so catchy to me.
There's nobody here but me and you. So what we gonna be eating? Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Looks like we got a little place to do the things we need to do now, and it'll sound like this.
Yeah, he's kind of been doing the bluesy rock thing for so long now that it's undeniable. He's a true vocational blues guitarist. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't dig into Jack White an awful lot, but I do kind of appreciate that he's there doing this thing. Have you listened to the White Stripes since?
Yeah. It was the White Stripes are always one of those bands I used to hear when I was younger. I could just like never get fully into them. But Jack White, I feel like, is slightly more accessible, even though White
Yeah.
Stripes would be like in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think I'm always reminded of them in that one Simpsons episode where Bart's a drumming, and it is dun 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 dun
Yeah, yeah,
for the
yeah.
hardest button to button. Yeah, the Jack White, I know he has some really great other albums. I've kind of listened to like the last two. I got four more I gotta listen to at the moment. To my knowledge, he's never released anything bad, like inherently that's really bad. But so there's a lot to go through. I mean, he's a talented
Sure.
guy. There's no way to
Absolutely.
no way to phrase it.
He's on tour soon. He's playing on the 1st of September in Dublin. So are you going to see him as well?
I think I'll be at Electric Picnic still that
Of
day.
course, yeah, same again.
Yeah, I'll try to get him in London at some stage.
Yeah. He's doing a pop-up, Third Man actually are doing a pop-up record store thing. There'll be some special releases, it seems, anyway, as part of that. Watch out for that. I think Tower in Dublin is doing it. place in Belfast that's doing it is Hectic Wreck. That's happening around his gigs mostly. So he's doing 2 nights in the Olympia in Dublin. That'd be a good buzz, I'd say. So each shop is turned into a temporary third man outpost with exclusive vinyl and merch and posters and books, all the usual, all the nice thing. He's an analog man. He likes analog music and he likes analog things. I like that. That Jack White. I think it's the album's been getting really good reviews as well. One of the best of his career in recent years. So fair play to him. Right, my next choice is a band from Australia called Swapmeet. I didn't know anything about this band till I've recently moved off Spotify for my listening. And I'm on Cobuzz now. I'm a Cobuzz guy. And they're really good with albums. And what they're also really good at is picking albums every Friday as a selection. They have a really good editorial section. I think this is where I saw the Swapmeet album. It came up on their new releases, and every Friday I go through the new release, and I really enjoy doing that. And I've kind of it's kind of given me a fresh, after what, 22 years, 21 years of doing this. I'm like, now I have another way of doing it again. And I just really like the Swapmeet album. And there's like, I mean, you're kind of like, if you're talking about Jack White as being like, you know what you're getting, it's good stuff. There's nothing too mad here. It's a really good scuzzy alt rock kind of slowy core guitar album. It's called Mount Zero, and here's a song from it called Halfway.
I turned 23, lying in my bed. Rain blew through the windows, 1,000 little arrowheads. Cracks in the ceiling, a splinter in my palm. There's a car crash at the doorstep, and nothing left to hold on.
Now they're called Swapmeet because they're a band that like to swap their instruments and also swap singing and all that kind of stuff. So some of the songs have variations in for sure. This is I think it might be the opening song. It's called I Know from the record. Yeah, that's Swapmeet. Album is called Mount Zero. Just a really nice, solid guitar. There's been a number of those. What would be your like new band guitar discovery lately?
I actually also found this album as well. It's actually similar to one of the albums I have later on as well. Feeble Little Horse meets Indigo
Oh
the
yeah,
Singing.
Feeble Little Horse. That was another one I think I discovered last year again. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they released a new album, was it a few weeks
They
ago?
did, yeah.
Yeah, so it's it kind of have that, indie kind of slacker rock elements, alternative shoegaze
For
all
sure.
melded together. Yeah, that kind of genre of music I really like. So I think it's really easy listening. You pop it on in the back when you're after 8 o'clock and you're nice relaxing.
Yeah, they are playing here in November in Dublin, London on November 7th, and Brighton
That'd be
and
the
Paris
Pitchfork.
and Manchester. Yes. So on that as well. Who else is playing the Pitchfork Festival? Working Men's Club, Dive, Mandy Indiana, Freak Slug. Lots on. Sell Everything are playing as well.
Yeah, see on the Irish one I recognised.
Good, very good. Now, your next choice. I'm wearing the t-shirt, literally wearing the t-shirt, and not only that, they're up there.
Nice.
They're the patron saints of my entire music listening. It is the Beastie Boys. You have picked a solo song from Mike D, which the album is coming out at the end of the month. It's called Thank You.
Yeah.
So there's been four singles anyway, collected on an EP. I want to let you talk about it first because I'll bring it. I'll go on it later because I want to hear where you're.
It's really exciting as someone who really loves the Beastie Boys, and obviously they did agree that they're never going to perform as the Beastie Boys, performing the Beastie Boys songs, which I totally respect that decision, and I think it is the right one. They are a trio and they're meant to bounce off each other, and that's the way the Beastie Boys has found it. So it's I appreciate that that it is what it is. But it's really exciting then that Mike D's come back after a few years and gone, I'm going to make some of my own stuff. And then obviously highly anticipated, he is one of the 3 Beastie Boys, and then it just being really good. I think this is the first track off the album, and hearing the other 3 and you just being like, oh, I'm so excited. Like he's still got it, and it doesn't feel like feels contemporary. It feels like a new spin on. It doesn't feel like what he did with the Beastie Boys, but it just feels like this contemporary spin
Yeah.
on what he likes, what he what he grew up with. It's so good.
Yeah, I guess it is a very different thing, and I think that's really good. I'm glad that it's really different because if it was exactly the same as the Beast Boys, it couldn't be, like you said, because they agreed when Adam Yaukin died in 2012, decided, very obviously they were like, well, we can't keep doing this now. He's gone, so it was always about the three of them. And I think I've been reading a lot of the interviews that he's done, or listening to some of them. He did one with Louis Theroux recently, the New York Times one. Anyway, there's loads of bits of writing and loads of interviews to listen to or to read about where he's coming from. And I think he kind of was missing music for a long time. And then I think for a lot of people like ourselves, music can be a very regulating thing in our lives. If you're not doing it, and I mean, not that I make music, but like if I wasn't listening to it all the time, I would be missing something. And I think he got to the point where he was living his life, he was enjoying it, but there was something missing, and he realized, okay, my kids are growing up now. His kids are on the record. And when I say their kids, they're like what, early 20s now,
Yeah.
playing in the band. It's all very different kind of buzz. It's a 6-piece band. They played Beyond the Pale, and here recently I couldn't go because my son was born the same weekend, and that is fine, of course.
Did you name him Mike D? Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't. No, I
Oh,
don't think that. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, that would have been something else. I'm hoping to get to see Mike D, or Mike 5D as the show is being called, soon. But it's been just great to see him back and enjoying it and doing his thing. And regardless of how I feel about it, and I'll be honest, I don't really know how I feel about it yet because I think I was such a Beastie Boy fan. The looseness to this that I kind of appreciate. And I kind of went away for the album to hear it all together. I do like this song, the Switch Up song. I think it's the best of the ones he's released so far. I have to say, I was looking at all of the packaging around the cassettes look amazing. The artwork looks amazing. I was like, wow, okay, I'm gonna have to buy this in a few different formats now. The cassette looks class. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, I love that they always they always had like really good attention to detail. The cassette is looks absolutely class. I wouldn't listen to it on cassette, but I definitely would like that. It looks class.
Oh,
Uh,
that's so cool.
so yeah, there's those side of things. Let's have a listen to the song "Switch Up." Is yeah, Mike D. Nice to have you back.
Somebody teach me a lesson. I wake up from depression. Switch up. Switch up.
So yeah, nice to be bringing new Beastie Boys related music to the podcast. It's something that we kind of never thought it might happen. So thank you for bringing that. That is nice to
No,
have.
I'm so excited about it. I
Yeah,
just, when you're like, new Mike D, and then when you listen to it, you're like, this is gonna be good, and it's just he's done it so well. He has like the break beats in there, and to me, the way the song sounds, it's so geared towards live performance because you can feel like everyone kind of like
yeah.
on the ground for, and then we go again, and you just know it's like I will be buying a ticket to a show because I got to see that live.
Yeah. Well, shout out to my friend Kieran, who's definitely going to listen to this, and he's going to be. He's already seen him twice in the last couple of months, and hopefully we'll be at the London show. Hopefully I'll be at the London show if we can make that work as well. So he bought tickets for Paris, and then he went, and then the London show came up and he got tickets for that as well, so he ends up going to both. So yeah, fair play. And also it is nice that he's playing So What You Want and tunes like that from BC's as a nod as well, which is nice. And he's doing it in his own way. I think that's the thing. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Great. They're just a perennial favorite. Like they're my favorite band of all time. So there you go. Mike D, Mags, thanks for bringing that. Well, my next choice is a record that came out actually in March. And because of the half year best albums of the year so far, I didn't hear it until then. I only decided to press play on it then, or maybe I only had a chance to revisit. It's by Shy One. The album is called Mali. It's actually the second album from the DJ producer and NTS host Shy One, who is also known as Trevor Nelson's daughter. And I think what I'm hearing a lot about this record, it's like an artist establishing a really like cool sound, a fusion of like UK funky, kind of electro, broken beat to some like jazz and soul kind of stuff in here as well. But Mali is her given name, and so it's feels like the art is truly representing who they are. I'll play a couple of tunes on it because there's kind of different styles on this. Steve Spacek and James Messiah, George Riley feature on it, but it's really about what Shy One is doing. In a way, it's kind of the debut album because the last one came out like 14 years ago or something like that, and it feels very, very different. So, no, not a debut album, but it feels like it could be a brand new project. Yeah, let's have a listen to. This is a song called "Loosen Up" from the record. Yeah, kind of a nice instrumental on that track there, and then this one is called "I Can Tell."
Making it so easy for me to walk away. Seems like you show me how crazy you can be. I ain't got time for that. Please walk right back. I need to show you who's boss. Make a personal attack. I mean what I say. I let some shit inside. I cannot be the guy. I'm waiting on your reply. I mean what I say. I can tell what I say. I can tell by the way. I can tell the way.
So yeah, it's a kind of a bit of a throwback feel for that as well. Like it sounds a bit like that tune. It sounds a bit like Subtract, the first album that came out around that time, 2010 or so. We keep throwing back to 2010 for some reason. But today, yeah, it just sounds like somebody who's really rediscovering their own sound, informed by everything that she's done, pirate radio, soul and jazz. Obviously, like I said, her dad, such a well-known like presenter on MTV back in the days. Like I'm sure he's still at it, doing something. But yeah, her 2012 Bedknobs and Boom Kicks came out. That was her debut album. So 14-year gap, 2 albums in a row. You say that's 14 years between Mike D doing something and Shy One doing a full length as well. So there you go. Bit of jungle in there as well. I mean, less so than some of the other stuff she has done, but yeah, I really like this. I think it's a real statement of who the person is and who the artist is. I'm really enjoying it. So I would like to throw it to you now, Mags, to your. Let's go with the band that you picked because we'll stay in the UK. Put it that way.
Cool, yeah. In The Junkyard, kind of slacker indie rock, London-based band. I really love this album. I think it's really intimate, but some of the vocals on it are really whispery, and then they go to kind of being a bit more present. And then they have some of like the best riffs I've heard in a while on this album, and just like everything put together, it just makes for such a lovely listen, but also just really unique. And there's always something you're kind of finding that they're doing in it, kind of similar to the Mount Zero album you mentioned earlier. I think if you liked Swapmeet, I think you'll really like In The Junkyard. They kind of go hand in hand.
Nice. Okay. Song you picked is Seek and Destroy. Let's have a listen to that. This is Seek and Destroy.
I don't have the body or the mind to stay out tonight. I'm already halfway home. I think I fantasize about all that could go wrong. I'm holding my body like it is a baby. It's all I can do not to cry. This world is too much for me. I'm just a baby. It's all I can do to stay alive. It's all I can do to stay alive. It's all I can do to stay alive.
Another band who on tour soon as well, of course, playing Dublin on September 22nd, and a UK and European tour around that as well. Have you seen them live?
Yeah, they opened for the Murder Capital in IB Gardens last
Ah,
year.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and
That's right.
I liked them. Yeah, I liked them at the time, but I think this album, like, is really cemented how cool it sounds. Because I saw some quote where someone said, like, "It's big enough to fill a concert hall, but also small enough to fill a dorm room." And, like, that's exactly what it feels like,
Nice,
where
yeah.
she doesn't feel like a big artist, but it feels like someone who's kinda just doing what they're thinking about doing at the time, and it just sounds so unique, and you could tell she's just really great at music and just really interesting.
Mm,
You know, kinda similar to Big Thief or Wednesday, it kinda has, like, elements of, like, emo rock and slacker rock, but then this
mm,
indie kind of
yeah.
manic pixie dream girl bits. It's just blended together. I think it's really cool.
So there were a trio: Clary, Freeman, Taylor, Cy Barbara, and David Addison are the trio who make up Mary in the Junkyard. Yeah, one I kind of definitely a bit of there's a lot of like violin and folky kind of indie rock stuff happening at the moment. I've had a brief listen to that Man Woman Chainsaw album. I kind of like what I've heard so far, so I want to revisit that. Obviously, there's elements of a band I love, and obviously you've done really well. English teacher a bit in this as well, so I really like what I'm hearing here. So the album is called Role Model Hermit. Yes, Role Model Hermit. Okay, nice. My next record is the same title as his first record. It's Chanel Beads, Shane Lowers. I liked what basically he came out what last year, was it last year? Year before? New York based artist, very much makes this indie pop, smeary, kind of glitchy, electronic-y kind of stuff. I heard about them because they were supporting Mount Kimby, who I love, and that's why I first heard about this song. 2024 was when the album came out, the debut. And for me, I didn't really like the album too much. I didn't go back to it, revisit, but Police Scanner was the tune off that. I was like, wow, I love this. I'm really into this. Then this album comes out. It has the same title as the first album, which is Your Day Will Come, for some reason. Confusing. Not sure why he's done that, but okay. Why not? I guess we can figure it out. But yeah, I just really like what he's doing here. It's more of the same of these kind of like warm guitar. It's got a really American sound to it as well. His vocals are very American. It works really well. He's kind of a there's a lot of space in it. It's also very emotionally direct. It's kind of spindly and very melodic. So very direct. I'm looking forward to actually getting to see him hopefully this year. Max, because I have 2 kids now, I don't get to see as many gigs, and with a 2-month-old, I definitely haven't I've been to 1 gig this summer. So, I'm looking forward to an autumn, hopefully, of more gigs, and loads of the acts we talked about here are all playing. Chanel Beat's also playing in November, so looking forward to seeing that. Here is a song called "Song for the Messenger."
Got the eureka thinking when I'm walking home late, laughing at the flowers and the money went to waste on the water. Lead me to the slaughter. And I always thought I would kill myself. Please stop thinking about it one day. Lead me to the water. Save me from the slaughter.
I'll play briefly another 30 seconds of this song. Tyler Richard just has a different flavor.
Like I told you to, like a dream. Or was it someone I knew? I see your face out there in a dream. Maybe the shit out of you. The king in his bed started singing, and it was free. I laid a line out for you, and I pray that the day stop coming.
There's been lots of interesting American stuff coming out lately. That band Ear I've yet to get into, but see a lot of people excited about them and their recent album Rumspringa. Who else am I really? That band At, really enjoying what they're doing as well. They had a new single out. Auto Smile is the tune I should have actually played that as well. I just hammered that tune last couple of months. So really love that. That's great. There's lots of really interesting, yeah, that's really like cool indie stuff happening again. It's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of getting back into the indie slash like auto tune era where it feels like it's like people making music from their desk in their bedroom and it's good.
Yeah, great. I love it. Long may it continue. So what have you got next? What is this? Is your last choice, I think, on this episode. So we're taking it back home.
Yeah, we have an Irish album. So it's Swings and Roundabouts by Goldbug. Honestly, it's Kelela who's behind this French Irish artist. He, he's just made the most beautiful, introspective, probably the best production I've ever heard on an Irish album, and it's like neoclassical, it's folk, it's soft and indie, but it's just from start to finish, it is one of like the most beautiful pieces of work I've honestly ever listened to, and I think everyone needs to go listen to this album. And obviously, it's even better. It's coming from Ireland, but it's just like how much talent we have here is insane. But
Yeah.
I've listened to it so many times, and every time you get something else out of it, I just think it's gorgeous. The vocals are unbelievable, and then you get these kind of really crashing bass lines that like kind of build up to this, big crescendo, and then it goes back soft again. And just the soft whispering vocals is just amazing, and the neoclassical elements with the strings. You can tell it's just someone who's really good at music and has produced something beautiful.
Yeah, as an interesting background as well, raised in a religious commune in rural
Yeah.
Vermont, also in the band of All Living Things as well. Yeah, there's influences touching Slint battles as mentioned, Talk as well. But the only way I think it's best to just hear it. So this is the track he picked. It's called Link.
Mowed lawns and a seesaw. These are a few of my favorite things. I think on while I drive over the cliff. I am done with. You said how? No, you wouldn't blink. But what about now? You welcome dead.
All right, that's Goldbug. Album's called Swings and Roundabouts. Gonna have to revisit that. All right, very soon. Yeah, so there's been lots. It's been a good. Yeah, would you say it's been a good year for Irish albums so far?
I'd say so. I mean, there's kind of no shortage of it. There's so many different, like, if you're into noise rock or alternative rock, there's just like so many great albums that have come out. Like, Thumper had a good one
Yeah,
recently as well. There was a Really Good Time just released that album, and
yeah.
I was listening to it yesterday. I was like,
Affirmations.
wow,
Yeah,
this is sick. And then, Gilliban coming up in Gurrier. So there's so
yeah.
much to
There's
come.
Girlfriend have an album. Last
Yeah.
Apollos. Strange Boy, Sorka Richardson, Mary Wallopers,
Yeah,
Sarah Green, Morgana, Meryl Streep, The Ran. Lots
yeah,
still to come.
yeah, Cable Boy and
And
Global.
yeah, loads. And this album as well. I'm excited. I'm very excited about this album. This is my last official choice on the podcast. It is Pháidín. You mentioned him earlier on. The Irish Collective, they are releasing an album called Clucks Clee Stonewall on Friday, September 25th on the UK label World of Echo. I love this band. Went to see them a few times. Saw them at Another Love Story probably last. They had an album out called on 424. No, what is it? On 424 about the bus that runs through Connemara. They have an imagined beef I hear with Pato and the Bull, John Francis Flynn, because they're releasing an album called The 123. So bus albums. Who knew it was going to be such a thing?
Wait
But
for it.
these are good. These lads are a great live band. All their missives are in Irish. I love that about them. Everything they do is very Irish. The album is inspired by the world of the writer Flann O'Brien, explores dry stone walls, like the suggestion of the title is about. It says the album takes structure and its themes from the dry stone wall, with each of its 10 tracks standing in as a metaphorical stone, a satirical look at Ireland's relationship with its native language and the Gaeltacht. Inspired in part by Miles na Gopaline's 1941 novel On Bail Booked, which is the song we will play, and touching on tokenism, housing, gentry politics, and ribbon developments along the way. This sounds all very interesting, but the music is very, very exciting as well. So here is a bit of On Bail Book. I love that. They're Pháidín. I can't wait to hear that album. I'm sure there'll be another track coming out soon. They're great. They're absolutely brilliant. Mags, before I let you go, I want to ask you if there's any other things that's consuming you, any other podcasts, films, books, TV shows, anything that is consuming you. There are things that you've watched or read or listened to recently that you love.
Yeah, I'm not big on TV series because I just never have time. So, I like watching movies. Just watched After Sun with Paul Mescal. I like a lot of coming of age movies, and I thought that one was
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
amazing. There's just so much left unsaid, which is really nice. I do read a lot, so I kind of more focus on books. I'm trying to read more Irish books, so I just finished The Country Girls by Edna O'Brien, which
Oh, very
was
good, yeah.
famously banned years ago. So that trilogy I thought was really interesting, and seeing it, kind of written in the 60s, very progressive, very, very new for the time, and obviously so much so that it got banned, which is, really interesting, and
Yeah.
it has an important place. I like a lot of fantasy books, so I finished Farseer trilogy. So Robin Hobb, if anyone likes reading fantasy, thought that one was
Nice.
wonderful as well. And at the moment I'm reading East of Eden. I love John Steinbeck, so I actually haven't read this yet, so I've only heard good things, so I'm very excited
Very
for it.
good. Nice. In terms of books, I'm currently reading a lot of music books. I always
Mm.
have 4 or 5 on the go. The first one I heard from a podcast, actually, the No Tags podcast. They did a story with they did an interview with Lauren Martin, who wrote a book about dubstep and the origins of dubstep in London. And the book sounded really interesting. So I went and bought it. And it's an oral history. I have it here. It's an oral history, really nicely done, interviewing the key people around the dubstep scene in London around that time. I love an oral history. I love an oral history music book, and yeah, this is right up my street. So that talks about artists like Scream, Mala, Koki, Lofa, Horsepower, all the dubstep that happened before the Americans took it over, but also talks about the American stuff as well. In a way, it's called Aftershock: The Seismic Impact of Dubstep. And it also reminded me of the existence of this Marianne Hobbs Breeze Block show from 2006, which just turned 20 years this year. It's called Dubstep Wars. It was basically my big introduction and a lot of people's big introduction. It's a landmark like radio show, a 2-hour special featuring all the key players of the time doing mini mixes, and it was so cool. We got like Mala and Koki's Digital Mystic. Scream is on it. He's like a 19-year-old now in this Code 9 Space Ape Vex. Hatcha, Lofa, all 7 sets in all. It's 2 hours. It's all on YouTube. It's absolutely incredible, especially the first half, I would say. But all different stuff, all different kind of music, all different kind of dubstep. And I think it was when it was so early and it was coming out of Croydon at the time and Plastic People. And, they were making dub plates, and it just seems to be, it's one of the last scenes that that developed and happened before the arrival of the internet, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so compelling.
What's happening? This is Scrape. You got into the Dubstep Wars of Bruce Block Show with Marianne Hobbs. Done this tune request line last Boxing Day. Didn't think nothing was going to happen to it, first of all. I give it to Youngster, and Youngster started battering it. And then it started getting a lot of airplay down at forward. Maximum out of Roll Deep was feeling it, and he started playing it a lot. MC Skepta was really feeling it. Where he was MCing on it a lot of the grime crew sort of got on it. A lot of that grime crowd is MC driven. So if the MCs will think it's got to say it's a big tune, then it's a big tune. And since then they've sort of acknowledged dubstep. Change done me wonders, to be honest. It's brought me a lot of attention, which is good. Giles Peterson's been playing it. Rob the Bank, Marianne Hobbs, obviously. And I think it can help the scene as well, because bridging the gap.
I'm also reading the latest book from Simon Reynolds, which is called Shoegaze, Still in a Dream. Shoegaze Slackers and the Reinvention. Obviously, the whole world and its mother has been on a shoegaze kick for the last few years. So kind of a good time to revisit, and no better person than Simon Reynolds to go back. And he was there at the time, talk about music of that time, and it's a good chance to revisit. I do love also listening to this music at the same time, as well as reading about it if we can. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. I mentioned, sorry.
I'm reading that one or listening to that one on the audiobook as well.
Great, yeah. I've kind of got off the audiobooks. I just it's nice to read. It's nice to read again.
Great.
But I also try not to use Amazon. So I used to have audiobooks on Amazon, and now I'm like a bit lost. And then somebody told me today I can go to the library, and the library website and use audiobooks. So I need to do that. See what's available.
Great resources. But yeah, I think this Simon Reynolds one's so interesting because he was there at the time, but it's also like just the way he writes. I keep stopping and going, write that down. He's phrased that so well. Like it's just a dream to listen to him.
Nice.
Read his writing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Lovely. The only other thing I've been watching, like I said, I don't have a chance to watch an awful lot, but the only TV show I watched, haven't seen the film for ages, is Widow's Bay, the TV show. It's kind of like a black comedy horror. It's really good. We got so into it here. A great show. It's funny and without being slapstick. It's knowing without being too knowing. It's a comedy horror series starring Matthew Rhys, and it's really good. So 10 episodes. Couldn't wait to watch it. So that was great. But yeah, I'm just so many things I haven't seen, so many things I haven't read. I love trying to fit it all in. But hopefully I'm going to get to see more gigs again. So that's the main thing. More gigs. What about yourself, Mags? What's coming up for you? In terms of like your Instagram page, TikTok page, like what are you hoping to do? What are you're busy?
Yeah, I am very busy. Getting a lot of people send me music, which is really great. So I like kind of spotlighting the stuff I'm really enjoying at the moment, be it singles, be it albums. I'm just trying to get it more structured so it's a bit more consistent the way it's been posted. Hoping to do some interviews soon. I have a few lined up hopefully in the future. So it'll be nice, be it Irish artists in London or just generally whoever I can get, whoever is willing to talk to me.
Yeah.
It'll be lovely. But yeah, I like highlighting what's going on. I like talking about albums. I just like talking about music. So if it's any way I can like relay or like kind of broaden people's horizons to new music to listen to, because I really loved it for All Together Now, where people kind of say to me, "Oh, I listened to that because you said to go see them," and it's just like that's unreal. It's just like people just need a little recommendation here and there, and I think that's really cool. That's when some of the best acts you've seen are the ones that someone kind of says offhanded, "Oh, they're really good," or your mate goes, "Do you want to come here?" And you do, and you have a great time. So just hopefully broadening some horizons and especially in terms of the Irish music scene. There's so much great music here, and trying to get people to go to gigs and support independent artists, because obviously it's tough for everyone. It's really tough for any
Yeah,
musicians out
yeah,
there.
yeah. It is indeed. So was there any other was there any influence you had, or any other reason you just felt compelled to start doing what you're doing? I mean, that's how I started. I just was like, there were other people at the time when I started out who were just like doing it in America, and I was like, I could do that here,
Hmm.
and that kind of started it all off for me.
Yeah, there's a gap in the market. So what I think started it off was obviously I talk a lot and I like a lot of music, and just sometimes if I was putting up any video, it'd be me going to a gig and I'd just be talking, and then I was kind of like, oh, why don't I just like make videos about talking specifically about music, and like everything I do just comes from a love of music, going to like gigs, finding new acts, finding new albums to listen to, because I like have headphones on 24/7 unless I'm at work. So it's a pretty big part of my life, and it's also a way for me to document what I like to listen to and what I would
Yeah.
recommend. Because it's always when people go, "Oh, do you have any recommendations?" Your brain goes blank. So it's just kind of come from just a genuine place of I was already talking, and then I just started focusing on what I really liked, which was music a bit more. 'Cause before I was just going to gigs, and then people would go, "Oh, I really like your recommendations," and then people started sending me music, and then I was like, "Oh, well, here we are. I guess this is what we're going for." I think what started off really was a lot of was all together now last year. I put up some recommendations for people to see just because I thought the lineup's really great, and there's people
Right. Yeah.
that maybe people hadn't seen, or would say, "Oh, the lineup's a bit weak," and you go, "Well, here's a load of artists I think are great," and yeah, that was kind of like what really cemented it for me was last year. It all together now, just going, "Oh yeah,
Okay. Great.
this is what people are interested in."
And you do TikTok and Instagram. Do you see a difference between the two? How do you view it?
Yeah, it's it's really funny. There is a notable difference. I feel like on Instagram recently, I don't know if it's because of all the all together now content. I just feel like that's being pushed to like way more people, and I'm getting a lot of I think there's a lot of older generations who are on Instagram who aren't on TikTok, and it's really nice seeing some of them when I'm doing in like deep dives of Irish artists or album. They're like, "Oh, I used to listen to this back in the day. It's so nice. You like it," or "This brought me right back to a different time." So I think you reach different
Yeah.
audiences, and a lot of those are really like want to talk and want to comment, which is like the best part of it. Is like when I read some comments and people are like, have a story about this from years ago, which is like super cool when they're like, "Oh, I went to go see I'm old, I went to go see that in '95." I'm like, "That's so cool that you got to see them in '95." It's you just get such a broad range of people. Like TikTok's fine, but I find the algorithms just not, it's unforgiving sometimes. You could put up content that does really well on TikTok, but it just plummets on Instagram. So I don't really care. I just kind of put it on both and see what sticks.
Yeah. I've avoided TikTok generally just because don't have time for it anymore. Yeah, but I totally get that. I mean, that's the mercy of the algorithm as well. I mean, are you planning on doing any YouTube stuff or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm looking into YouTube for the future. I know I like watching a lot of long form content, so I think I just need to turn the camera sideways
Yeah.
and get that kind of talking. So, yeah, there's a lot of like long form content I'm interested in. I find like I don't like scrolling on Instagram, or I don't actually scroll on Instagram at all. Scroll on TikTok, but I'm trying not to do that, and I'd rather watch a video or watch something longer form if I'm cooking or doing whatever as people do. Kind of reset the brain a bit.
All right. Well, Max, thanks for joining me on the podcast and sharing your choices.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, best of luck and get out with those gigs, read those books, skip those TV shows. Yeah, enjoy picnic. I hope you have a good time. I'll be watching out to see what you think.
Yeah.
I will say, last time I was at the picnic, it was a strange mix of people in their 20s and people in their 50s, and the
Mhm.
people in their 30s and 40s weren't there anymore. I was like, this is really weird. It was like
Yeah, that's
it
the
was like
30s.
it was like they didn't exist. It was strange. It was strange, but maybe it'll change. I mean, look, I'll be interested to know how you get on. Put it that way.
Yeah, look, as if I can stay away from main stage as much as I can and spend more time at smaller stages, that's like how you do electric picnic. It's like
Absolutely, absolutely.
it's most fun is the smaller stages away from main stage. So
Stay away from the main road. Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. I love when I don't like the headliners because it means I don't have to go there.
Great, great. I should say before I go, I actually put up the All Together Now, my set from All Together Now, which I recorded live. So it's on Patreon at the moment. So if you want to support 909, it's patreon.com/909. Yeah, it's actually, the recording is actually free. If you want to hear it right now, you can go and listen to it. It's an hour and a half of what I played at the festival with a track list and all. Have a listen to it. But yeah, that's on patreon.com/909.
Funny one, when I was actually All Together Now, I had this video of me. I was filming something, and then I was like, "Who's playing on the bandstand right now?" Because and I realized it was you playing your last song. But I was like, I recognize this song, but it shouldn't be playing here. And then I was looking on the stage because I couldn't see you because of the fog. And
Yeah. They kept putting the fog on. I was like, I
yeah,
can't do it.
so I was like, there's no one up there. They're just playing music. But I have this video. You can see in one of my vlogs. It's me going, who's playing? Third last set ever, because they're splitting up after this. I would go see them. I've seen them, but I'm going to see them at an electric picnic. Who is this? It feels like it shouldn't be right now. Okay. And my brain is trying to figure out, I know the song, but I actually don't know it, and you would be playing it. And then when I figured out it was you after looking at your track list, I was like, that makes so much sense. It's you.
Right,
like,
yeah,
you would play that.
Yeah, I played the
So-
Kavinsky night call. Yeah.
Yeah. So I caught the last bit, but I was trying to interview
Yes.
David Keaton, so I had to run back and grab a microphone.
Very good. All right, nice one. All right, Mags, thanks a million.
Good.
Thanks for being
Thank you.
here, and thanks for being on the pod. And best of luck. Yeah, we'll talk to you again. Nice one.
Appreciate having me. Thanks so
Thanks
much.
a million.
Catch you later.
Bye.